Everybody, welcome back to Going the Distance MMA. Today we've got betting and predictions for Octagon 82. Does seem to be a pretty solid offering given the lack of UFC. So let's get into what we got. We'll be doing this card bottom to top, prelim to main, starting with the opening prelim of Arian Sadakovic versus Jixi Malapo. Sadakovic at minus 450, Malapo plus 350. For this one, this does seem like a pretty exciting fight to start off with, I think. Sadakovic is 1-0. He is that first fight being a super fast KO. He has a couple pretty high level kickboxing fights on his record. In a kickboxing fight, he had a nasty knockout of a champ in round 2 with a knee. I'm sorry, a knockdown, not a knockout, but it was a great look. He does seem on the striking side to be pretty solid. The ground game for him is entirely unknown, but on the feet he seems to be not MMA but in kickboxing really really impressive. For Malapo, a lot less known here. He's 1-1. He has a win by decision and a loss by sub. He has some Muay Thai kickboxing experience, not at the same level of his opponent, but some professional experience. He has solid AM run for MMA at 7-2. He does seem to have on Tapology a modified rules kickboxing fight scheduled 5 days after this, so busy schedule. I did see in some old tape of him, he does throw a lot of good kicks. The striking defense seems to be a bit lacking before and after he throws in that Pavel Sach fight, as what I was watching specifically. For this one, I think both fighters haven't fought nearly as much where like ground engagements are green. Like they're always fighting these modified rules fights. I do imagine that this fight stays on the feet. I think Sadakovic is much more accomplished of a kickboxer, hits much harder. I would expect him to get a knockout here early. Probably not much value given the minus 450 price tag, but an under if you want it or a KO prop, probably not bad here. What do you think?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I feel like we can move on from this. Yeah, I think under. I think Arian clips him really bad early, and yeah, I don't see any grappling happen. So favor the one championship kickboxer.
Seems pretty straightforward. I agree. This next prelim we have at 135. This is Amir Khan Al versus
135. Sorry.
Beck. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna throw this on too. I really couldn't find any tape, and I'm sorry if the slides are messed up. I was doing them late last night, very tired. But yeah, yeah. No, I think Amir's fine here. Like a little bit more impressive on the little that I saw, but I don't really have a take. So you take this one.
I actually like this fight a lot. I'm on Sebek here.
Okay.
For Al, he's 2-2. All those pro fights in Octagon. A lot of amateur experience. There's not a lot of pro tape here, so I went off a lot of am tape. In the stand-up, seems to be a bit of a pressure striker. He likes to back up his opponent against the fence and throw. Pretty haymaker, untechnical. He does seem hittable during those explosions. He has some good takedown entries in that Andras Toth fight. He has good control when he's down there. Some choke, some ground and pound for Sebek. 2-0, crafty sub guy. Both wins by sub. He has a really extensive amateur career. He's got about 20 fights, only 2 losses in there, both by decision. I would say that he has fought less impressive professional comp up to this point as compared to his opponent. He's longer. He has really good takedowns, really good control. He's like glue in the mount position. In that Lucas Vach fight, he just would, once he got into mount, he would not get off. Same with the figure 4 back ride in the Thompson Michalek fight. Really impressive when he gets his opponent to the ground and he's in a dominant position. Looking at him, you'd expect him to be a guy who's long and lean, stays on the outside, but he really has like great takedowns, great sub game. For this fight, if you can get Sebek at a plus price tag, I'd be all over it. I like Sebek money line. I also like the submission. Again, under this is Octagon, so no surprise there. But I think Sebek's longer. He's got more reach. He's got much more varied weaponry, a cleaner record. I think he should be able to hold his own on the feet. Maybe he gets slumped, but I like his money line and the sub play here. Up next, we've got Alton Zanuni versus Marat Toysuz. This fight is lightweight at 155. Zanuni, 2-0, wins by sub and decision, coming in here as a large favorite. Actually, I thought he used to be larger. It seems like it went down a little bit. Lots of amateur experience, a solid record there, solid opponents, solid wins. He had some amateur opponents that are 12-4, 10-2, so pretty good guys. Did a lot of that in the IMMAF, GE and the Cage Warriors Academy. Seems pretty competent on the feet. Ground does seem to be his bread and butter, though. Great takedowns, nasty control, good scrambles. He was controlling Marcel Massa, who seems like a very educated guy on the bottom, like it was nothing. Toysuz on the other end, 5-0, all knockouts, no publicized amateur record. If you're just looking at Tapology records, this would be a very endearing underdog. Clearly has confidence in his hands, willing to take one to give one. Good boxing, solid technique and power up there. That Jandirobayev fight, he can chuck off a couple takedowns. He can get up when he's against the cage. Impressive. I do notice that he tends to knock himself off balance with his own kicks like all the time, which is kind of weird. For this fight, I do like Zanuni by sub. You can take his money line if you want somewhere in the lay. It's not too bad, but I do like the sub. I think it comes in round three. I think there's a better chance that Zanuni's met a murder power puncher like Toysas than it is the other way around. That Toysas has dealt with such a varied threat like Tanuni. I think that Zanuni is live to get throwed, to get KO'd like everybody else. And Toy Rose is certainly a valid underdog, and the KO prop might have some juice there, and all of his wins are knockout. But for me, I think Zanuni takes it probably by submission. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think Zanuri rolls here actually. For Murat, I feel like he gets taken down and gets controlled quite a bit by people who definitely don't have the submission game of Zanui, and I think Zanui will proactively grapple. Like a guy who has all early KOs, like why would you stand and strike with him? Where he hasn't really shown on tape that he's just gonna stand and exchange. So I think Zanui by rear naked choke. I actually think it happens early, believe it or not. I think if he gets the back, the fight could be over. Obviously, Murat's there to kind of bomb on people, but like you said, man, very like knocks himself off balance. Like it's like a bar brawl at times, and like I don't think Zanui's gonna give him that fight. So yeah, Zanui sub.
I would agree with you. For this fight at lightweight, we have Thomas Siganek versus Maurice Adolph. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm also gonna take the favorite again in Thomas. How do you say his name? Sorry.
Siganek, I'm calling him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think dude's like he's 6-3, but fought pretty good guys. You know, like I think he's got a good grappling game. Will like offensively grapple whenever he needs to. The only concern with him is I don't love his striking. I feel like he is hittable, but again, he's getting hit by pretty solid guys relative to the level that these guys are fighting at. I think the he's live to take the back. Maurice has been gets up and gives his back in MMA, which like I hate as a pure jiu-jitsu guy. I hate when I see that, and I just think Tomas could definitely capitalize on that. And also like the fight that stuck out to me was Aaron McDonald. I know McDonald's not like a world beater and not great, but like the way he was able to chain those subs and like that nasty armbar to try all that stuff, I just think he gets takedowns here. I think he really puts it in his wheelhouse and takes over. Maybe he doesn't get the sub in one, but I think 2-3 definitely the grappling adds up. What about you?
I agree. I will say Sidnick, very fair losses, as you said. He got a split decision to a guy who's 6-2. He lost to George Staines, who's pretty good on the European scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he's standing, he's pretty low hands. He does love his rear leg push kicks to the legs, to the body, to the head, off all targets. I don't mind his striking. I don't think it's great, but I think it's certainly serviceable. I think he has great knees. I will say that he was chain wrestled in that 16-2 loss in the second round, but he was also able to defend a bunch of takedowns in that fight against Dirchka and also his fight against Halimson. I will say that I think this guy has a reliable pace for 3 rounds. You can count on if it goes that far. He has some takedowns of his own that he's gotten from body lock position, so not too bad there. Ador for the matching record over here. No publicized AM record. He is riding a 2-loss win streak. He's fighting a Greek guy, Chatsi Georgiadis. I made sure to practice that before this. And in that fight, he just seems satisfied with like point fighting on the outside, just like pitter patter, no real drive to finish. Lots of like leg kicks just because they're like the lowest effort thing he can do to take up time, it seems. When he gets on bottom, he seems to accept it. Both these guys are long. I think a lot of exchanges will be on the outside here. I like overs here as parlay pieces. I don't think Adorf can put Siganek in trouble. I think Siganek could put him in trouble. I think over 1.5 is not a bad parlay piece here. I do think the Siganek money line is the way to go. I probably wouldn't take a method here because I think it could go all three just because of the nature of these two guys. But I do agree Siganek is certainly the play. Up next, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the second to last prelim. This is Marek Bartel versus Camille Onis. We're calling him. We're calling him Onis for short. Camille Onis. For Bartle, he's 16-14. He's fought some okay comp. He's lost to some unimpressive comps from guys like 15-16, 10-13. Yuck. He's won all 3 ways. He is a finisher. He's lost all 3 ways, mostly by decision. He's an aggressive brawler on the feet. He had an insane round 1 spinning elbow KO in his last fight against Kennedy Ryomba. Wild. Also has like a sneaky, shifty sub game. Some nice little ankle grabs as well. Kind of surprising. Looking at his recent fights, you can't be surprised looking at his record after seeing him. His last few fights look pretty good. Whether that suggests late improvements or not, I don't know. It's kind of you'd be surprised if it did, but you never know. I do think if you look at that Daniel Schwinn fight, I think Marek may struggle with a lot of like physicality coming the other way. On the other side, Onis, I really like Onis here. He's 11-5. He was KO'd by the great Carlo Prater. I don't know if you saw that. Carlo Prater KO'd.
Yeah.
He's lost all 3 ways. He's a much better win ratio, obviously. He's fought some solid comp in Bellator and ACA. Casella Van Steenis is one name that popped out to me. I think he's very long. He's got good outside striking, good counters. Really, really impressive takedown defense. Some of the best I've seen in Octagon. Really good takedown defense. Was super impressed there. And in the Engizek fight, guy who's on the he's in the main event tonight. Really good fighter. He got beat on the feet due to that same physicality difference I was mentioning in the Daniel Schwinn fight for Bartle. So I think for this one, Onus's takedown is definitely going to hold up here, and this fight will take place on the feet. That being said, it's absolutely gonna be Onus's game here. Whether he wins by KO or decision, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to a decision, but I do love Oni's money line here at minus 135. That seems like a great play to me. What do you think?
Yeah, Onis is my favorite player in the card. I think he just fights. Maybe it's not the most sexy style, but just very smart, very good takedown defense. Doesn't put himself in a lot of bad positions. And I think Merrick really needs like a bar brawl early to clip him with something. And he needs it early. Like I just don't see him having any sort of minute winning if he's not getting on top, which he doesn't seem to do in all of his fights. Like sometimes he'll go to the wrestling. Like he has a solid he won by Kimura against I think Daniel Makin's the dude's name, which was like a solid win. But I just think Camille's levels, like on the mat, if he can even get him there, which I don't think happens. But yeah, I think Camille stays safe, kind of out kickbox him. I think it actually goes to decision just because of the way Camille fights. Like not a huge finisher, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's fine here. I think especially at range, he's the bigger man, like 4 inches of height. He definitely has a reach advantage, even though I couldn't find the other one. So yeah, I just think he does a little bit more, wins the decision.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's one of my favorite plays of the card, and I did circle Onus decision as well as money line. So I'm definitely hot on this one as well. Great call. The final prelim of the night is a Samuel Bark versus Safar Mosin. This is at 145. Samuel Bark minus 275. Mosin at plus 200. For Bark, he's 13-2, wins and loses both by KO and decision. He did win his last one by sub, interestingly enough, his first sub. This is a Thai style striker. You know the type, high guard, that front knee always coming up. Great get-ups. He showed that in the Santa Kidsy fight and the Fred Strauss fight. Really good get-ups. Mean knees when he's clinching on the inside of the octagon, when he's on the inside, not against the cage. Nasty knees. Good pressure on the feet. He throws freakishly hard when either he has momentum or he senses his opponent's hurt. Freakishly hard. He's clearly more proficient on the feet, but he can still scramble a bit. You could, as you saw in that Strauss fight in the second round. I think that his scrambling in wrestling is more just pure power than actual technique, but he's athletic and he's not scared to do it. For Mosin on the other side, this guy's 13-4. He's a finisher. Lost all 3 ways. This guy's a slime ball. I don't like anyone who pops. He popped. He
Yeah,
was fighting Kadima Gamedov. That's one of the Dagestani Nurmagomedovs, and he was fighting at Battle of the Giants, overturned because he popped against the Daggy. He popped. That's crazy. How does it feel over there, guys? Not too good, is what I think. In that fight, he looked super strong, great cardio. All that
yeah,
means nothing to me. Technique wise, there I saw some good judo, some good takedown defense. Off sauce, I did see some good takedown defense against Max Koga as well. So you do know that I know he has that. His striking defense isn't that great. He's an aggressive brawler. He has power. He has power. Who knows if that's from the sauce? So this guy, I kind of like turn my nose away at anyone who pops. So who cares about this guy? My prediction here: you take away the sauce from Mosin, and he's not all that. Bart comes in with that solid Muay Thai background. I think he beats Mosin in the pocket where this is likely to happen. I think this should stay on the feet. I think Mosin's fairly hittable. I think Bart probably puts his lights out late. I'm guessing a round 3 knockout here for Bark.
yeah. No, I think you said it perfectly. Like when I first saw the line, I was like bark all day, like home run. And that doesn't necessarily mean I don't think he wins. But Zafar really impressed me in that PFL fight, like you were talking about. But he did pop. He showed like really good takedown defense, kind of beat him up. I think that dude's also kind of a fraud that he beat. Like if you peel back his the 13-2 record, you don't really see a bunch of things you love. I mean, solid enough win. But yeah, dude, Bark is a dog. Like that dude will come forward. No pun intended. Bark is a dog. Like dude will come forward, swings hammers, that high tie stance. And man, I just think he cooks Zafar late. Like, dude, the pressure will get to him eventually because I don't think he has enough power to just sting and smoke Bark. Like, you know what I mean? Especially in like with a punch. So I think Bark goes to the body well, has those tie stance. Like you said, a ton of power on those knees to the body, which I love. And yeah, he just kind of breaks guys as they get extended. He just will keep going. And the concern is he is hittable himself, right? Like I've seen in a couple of his fights, he's been countered, but he showed like a good enough chin where I'm not super worried that he gets like slept. So yeah, I think Samuel Bark. I think Samuel Bark round 3 like finishes him late.
I would agree. I would agree. Seems like we're on the same page here. Now we get to the main card, the opener. We have David Zawada versus Daniel Lagaki. Zawada at I don't see the odds I have him written down for I have Zawada at plus 135, Lagaki at minus 175. For Zawada at 19-12, fought in a lot of major promotions, 1-4 in the UFC, 0-2 in the PFL. He did sub the great Abubakar Nurmagomedov, who's the shittiest of all the doggies, I think.
Russia's great hope.
Yeah, I think that he's on a current three loss streak, which isn't great. He's won all three ways. He's lost all three ways. Mostly wins by knockout. He couldn't take down Onis that we talked about earlier or Peñas. I don't like his takedowns. It's just like kind of like pressuring you and like hugging you. He seems fairly hittable on the feet. He has cage pressure, like I said, but it doesn't feel dangerous. He's just like standing in front of you and closing space. That's it. 1-5 in his last six, KO'd in four of those losses, won by Carlos Leal. There's a name. So I don't really love what I saw. For Lagaki on the other side, a lot less experience. Knocked out in his first fight, lost by decision in his last. He is a finisher. Way less experience, less impressive comp. He lost to his only experienced comp up to this point, who is 9-4. The one fight I saw on tape was a third round sub of Melvin Maine. In the first two rounds, they were just like pitter patter striking from the outside for Lagaki. Nothing that really caught my eye. In the end of the third, or the beginning of the third round, there was a takedown which went right to the back, right to a rear naked choke, which definitely caught my eye. But aside from that, I wasn't super blown away. I wasn't super into this fight in general. Neither guy impresses me that much. Zawada seems slow. Lagaki seems a little more dangerous, but less experienced. Neither guy blew me away on the feet. I think Lagaki stays standing, probably pieces Zawada up, finishes him on the feet, middle of the fight. I would guess a Lagaki round 2 KO. You could take the money line somewhere if you like it, because I do think Zawada looked pretty bad. ITD KO maybe. You could put the money line somewhere. I don't really love either guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, David Zawada, try not to cook himself challenge impossible. Like, this guy just goes way too hard early, saves nothing left in the tank for the swim back. Not to mention, he's been finished, what, like 6 times by KO, all in the first round or something like that? I mean, Lagaki, for all of his faults, like, he's super green in MMA, but he has that Muay Thai background, and man's nasty. Like, dude throws a ton of knees, elbows in the clinch. He has solid footwork. I think Zawada is so much slower here. He's gonna really have a hard time, like, chasing him. And Zawada's not the same guy that like fought Abubakar all that number of years ago, or like the guy who fought Alex Morono. He looks pretty washed to me. And I think, like, believe it or not, this is actually kind of a setup fight for Lagaki. Like, build a old vet, build someone up who has an exciting style. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Lagaki clips him at some point.
I would agree. Not really looking forward to this that much, but it's on, so we'll watch it. Up next, we have Tamerlan Dulatov versus Stephen Konkar. This is going to be a fun one. Let me find my notes here. I have them in a different order. Bear with me one
Yeah,
sec.
I had a Tapology order, but they keep switching it around.
Yeah,
It's
now I'm
annoying.
lost.
I'm sorry. Tapology, man.
Here it is. Got it. Dulatov versus Konkar. So this is Islam Dulatov's brother. This guy's 3-0, all finishes. He has one amateur fight, one by finish. All of them have been early in the fight. He is fairly untested, his best opponent being 2-0. He seems to carry that Dulatov killer instinct that his brother has gotten a big following for. Nasty hands, a good ground and pound in that mellow fight. He can snag the neck off of a shoddy takedown attempt, as you saw in the Exawi fight. On the other side, Konkar 4-0, also all wins by finish, most of them early. Definitely like an exciting pairing here. Dulatov is projected at over minus 1500. I think that's bogus. I think that's the name. For Konkar, he has a really strong rear leg kick, really strong leg kicks. If you're looking at Ito Rustic fight, really strong leg kicks. He clinches to handle the pressure in a way where I could see his neck get snagged, but he has really solid striking. For this fight, I think both these guys are really solid, undefeated prospects. Both been finishing guys quick at the lowest level. Both dangerous, both untested. Similar level on the feet. I do think that in one of those body lock clinches, Konkar is going to get in probably the first round. I think Dulatov will snag the neck, similar to how he did in the Gif Exawi fight. And I think he'll probably get a round with submission here. That being said, there is a stupendous amount of value on Konkar here. He's at plus 800. Similar credentials as Dulatov coming in. Looked good on tape. So if you wanted a dog shot, any of you out there, Konkar might be your stab here.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, these dual top guys just like mog everybody to oblivion, so maybe that's why the number's crazy. But like, how do you get to that number? Like, I know he's a high prospect. I know his brother seems to be the goods. At least has a ton of power. But like, I saw a lot of brawling. Like in this fight, I think a brawl could happen. Konkar's not horrible, and he has enough firepower to hurt people. So like you said, like plus 800 against a guy who's super unknown, and it's not like he's gonna offensively wrestle himself. So like in a striking fight, right, in 180 pounds, like I don't mind the dog shot, but I probably can't get there personally, just because I feel like if I wanted to fade dual top, I would want like a really good wrestler, just because I mean the guy can strike, right, like has good power. So yeah, I mean I don't fault anyone for taking the dog shot in Con Car, and then probably just take the under to cover yourself.
Dude, that guy's such a Chad. Just look at him.
That's what
Holy,
I'm saying.
what
Like,
a
I mean, he
Chad.
doesn't even need to fight. He just does it
What
for
a
the love of it.
Chad. They're all, dude, all the dual tops are Chads.
I
Absolutely.
know.
Russian Chad. All right, next fight we got
Oh, good fight.
featherweight.
Good fight.
This is Dennis Ibari versus Carol Raisavi. Let me find one. Found it. Um, Ibari minus 325. Raisavi at plus 215. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, Abari's cinema, man. I had a good time going back and watching him. Do you know who he kind of remind me of? Is like probably not as good, but like a De Silva de Andrade, like good body puncher, like really strong in the clinch, really physically strong. Even though he's not the tallest guy, like he makes up for it. Like those body punches are nasty. And it seems like he gets better grappling fight to fight. Like he has a, I think he's 22-3 in pro boxing. Like so he has a ton of pro boxing experience. Like he definitely favors his hands, but he will throw low kicks also. His he got subbed earlier in his career, but I feel like he's definitely improved on that, and he actually throws up his own submissions now. Like I think he has a couple submission wins, right? One or two, at least, or he's attempted them. So yeah, I think he's fun to watch. I think he is gonna be very durable, like very tough to just put away. And yeah, I think Dennis all day here. I actually really like him. I don't know. The other guy I did like some tape, and it seems like he's just kind of a banger, but like he's lost a lot of fights where he like exchanges in 50-50 spots, which like I don't love here. Like this dude has a ton of firepower and also really good durability. So yeah, I know it's like a cop out, the big favorite, but I think it's warranted.
We're on the same page here. The only really stuff I have to add is that Ilbari is nasty in the pocket striker. Um, I will say that he has showed a little bit to be desired in his takedown defense and his get-up
Hmm.
game. His two losses are by sub, so he's certainly subbable. Do I think Raisavi is the guy to do it? Probably not. Like you said, Raisavi is a bit of a banger. I don't see him getting to that submission decision on Dennis here. And as you mentioned, I think this really boils down to the durability difference. I absolutely see Dennis putting in fire that can't be taken on the other end. So I think we're going to see an Ilbari KO probably in round two here, be my guess. Um, but I would agree. Next fight, we've got James Hendon at minus 105 fighting Joni Palakaj minus 135. What do you got here?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Hendon side. I think he's pretty underrated actually. I was super impressed with his grappling. Like he's really opportunistic with submissions. He will go to his grappling early and often, which you always love. And I mean, he just is tough, man. These like UK guys usually when they're any sort of grappling or just tough, like tenacious, will shoot 10 takedowns if they need to. You know, what I mean, you see that on the daily in Cage Warriors. But yeah, he's like that similar archetype. But he's lost to unbelievable guys, right? Like Jordan Vujenic's really good. He didn't look complete. I know he got sub, but I know Vujenic, like we said on in a couple episodes before, hasn't really worked out. But dude's talented, really good, especially on the ground. And then Paul Hughes, who I think is the best fighter outside the UFC, arguably, and has been robbed many times by Nurmagomedov. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, I just think this dude's super underrated, and I don't think he's looked horrible against much higher level competition. So for that reason, I will pick him. And then I think I think on the other side, I just think this dude is not anything super special. I think he's pretty just well rounded and like is solid everywhere, like a generalist, like you always say. Maybe a bit more cleaner striking, but I don't think he has enough power to keep heading off of him. So for that reason, I will take James. What about you?
I am on the same side here. I was actually hoping for a little bit more of an underdog price here.
Hmm.
I was hoping to see a plus there. I think they might be closer to pick'ems right now.
Yep.
But I'll say for Palakaj, he has been subbed in the past, and what stood out to me, as you mentioned, was Hendon's got a really solid BJJ. I think we're likely to see Hendon grab a sub here. I would expect it to be middle or late in the fight. I do think Palakaj might be able to keep him off early. Like you said, I think Palakaj is a bit more polished and technical on the feet. But I think that what is a small difference in Palakaj's favor on the feet is a much larger difference on the ground for Hendon in his favor. So I just see that playing a large role here. I see Hendon probably pulling a sub, likely round two or round three, and that's what I would say here. I believe we are one fight short here, so I'm going to inject one fight in. There's a heavyweight fight between Mark Ducis at plus 145, Yevgeny Orlov at minus 170. I will just take over this one if you don't mind.
Please.
So for this one, Mark Ducis, he's 9-5. He has a losing record in both Octagon and KSW. He did fight. He did fight good comp. You have to admit that. He's a finisher. He has lost all three ways, but mostly by knockout. He's riding a 3-loss streak, 2 of those being knockouts. Daniel Score was one of them, who was a recent hit for me in the last Octagon video we recorded. He definitely hits hard on the feet. That can't be taken from him, especially when he gets his opponent against the cage. I don't love his ground and pound. He just kind of like lays on top. He doesn't really use that position that well. Chin is certainly questionable. He face planted in one shot by Score, landed palms up. He got KO'd by Pavel Langer with a nasty combo that started with the knee. Short and stocky, so his head is low and there to be hit, and when it does, his chin almost always falters. Orlov on the other side, this guy is 9-1. He's 0-1 in Octagon. He lost early in his career to Martin Budai by knockout.
Good boy.
Knockout by the great Martin Budai. He's a finisher, most wins by knockout. Not much on his resume that impressed me besides the Budai fight. The only other okay opponent on his record, he won by 10-second knockout, so it doesn't really tell you much. He just whooped up on a guy who's 3-10. So outside of Budai, I would say much less impressive comp than Ducis. He is currently riding an 8-fight finish streak, which wow. Fast hands given his size. He's a little bit of a fatty, but not super fat. A little bit fat though. He hits hard. He's not super technical, but neither is Ducis. In the Martin Dedic fight is what really pulled me towards Orlov. Orlov had a nice takedown, which I saw out of nowhere, like a really nice conventional wrestling takedown. From there, he had really, really mean ground and pound. So my prediction here, I think Orlov wins. Though the money line has value, the knockout, you could take around one knockout if you like. Ducis has felt better competition. They both throw bombs, they're both untechnical, both can shoot takedowns. But when they're down there is the difference. When Orlov is on top, on the bottom, but when he's on the ground on top, he's unloading with everything he's got. When Ducis is there, you're just laying there. So I think you're likely to see a KO by Orlov, whether it's on feet on the ground, I don't know. But Orlov is the play. Any thoughts to add on this one?
Yeah, no, I think Orlov you said it perfectly, just gets on top and smashes him, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I agree with you.
And now we are to the main event. We have Karim Engizek at minus 110, Krzysztof Jotko at minus 110 as well. I was hoping to see Engizek a little bit more of an underdog. What do you think here?
Yeah, I think I like Engizek, I think. I think he's fought, solid enough guys over there, was on a good run back in the day. He beat... I looked at the McStain fight, who I know he's older now, Cage Warriors legend, fought the who's there, and he had a really good finish. He did really well on top. He was landing a ton of, because Stanton's not a bomb off his back, and he was landing some heavy shots, man. And Jotko historically has really good takedown defense and is a good grappler himself, but I don't like the way he wears damage. Dude is there to get hit. I don't think he's the most durable. I know he's been knocked out a couple times back in the UFC against really elite guys, but I just don't think age is gonna help him here. He's starting to get a little bit older. I think Kareem's solid. I don't think it's one of these fights let's bring the UFC guy in to beat the regional guy. And yeah, for that reason, I just think Kareem does a little bit more on the feet too. Has nasty power, definitely a huge power advantage. So yeah, I'll take Kareem. But like you said, Jotko savvy vet. So I don't love pick'ems here. I thought he was gonna be more of a dog. So yeah, what do you think?
I agree. I'm on Engizek here. I watched a lot of his fights just from taping the rest of this card. For Jotko, I'll say I think the price tag is purely due to he was 11-6 in the UFC. That's 17 fights. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
He's a great wrestler, I think. However, there's not much else. I don't think he presents. He has to present a ton of finishing danger. He's just a good wrestler, really good wrestler, but that's it. Engizek, tank. Proven cardio, hits hard, has some wrestling of his own, presents more damage, presents more danger. The wrestling difference in favor of Jotko, similar to the last fight, is much less in amount than the on the feet difference in favor of Engizek. I think Engizek is a murderous power puncher, and he has the cardio to uphold that for rounds. I think we're likely to see Jotko's experience taken late in the fight, but I think I'm calling Engizek round 4 knockout. I think for this, I think there's enough meat on the bone for me for a money line play to put in a parlay somewhere. I like if you want to take 3 sort of stabs. What I think stands out to me is Engizek in a parlay. You stick Orlov in that parlay, and you stick Onis in that parlay. If you want to stick another one, you can do Daniel Lagaki, but that I think you're getting a little bit risky. But I definitely think Engizek is the side. I think my 3 plays of the card at value my money lines at value are Orlov, Onis, and Engizek. Any plays you want to highlight as your favorites?
What was the Denise? What was that guy's name?
Il- Denise Ilbay or Ilbari,
Yeah,
him.
I like him. I think like him, Enzek, and Camille would be the three I play.
Absolutely. That was the run through of the 12 cards this Saturday at noon for Octagon 82. For any picks you guys take, good luck, and we'll see you next time.